I tried to escape his zone last night. He folded the whole town around me and dropped me back where I started.
No matter how far I drove, the sky stayed the same, dead gray, and the GPS only repeated one word: recalculating. When I finally gave up and came home, the humming in my apartment stopped, and his voice spoke inside my head for the first time.
You can't leave the zone, he said, but you can leave the children if you want to be free. Someone else has to smile for you. I teach those kids. I watched him mock them. I'm not trading them for my life, but every time I say no, this town gets stranger. This is my third transmission from the Unsafe Zone. If you're still listening, keep the lights on. I'm running out of ways to say no. Morning didn't feel like morning. The sky was colorless, the same flat gray I'd driven under all night. The hum was gone, but the silence it left behind felt thicker than sound. Coffee didn't help. Showers didn't help. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard his offer again. Someone else has to smile for you. I kept repeating the only answer that felt human. No, no trade, no deal. But walking into the school that day, watching kids spill out of minivans and buses, laughing and shoving each other, I couldn't stop counting them and thinking, how many smiles is one adult worth? My first class wouldn't stop smiling. Not the creepy way from before, just regular kid smiles. Jokes, whispers, gum they swore they weren't chewing. But every time one of them laughed, I heard his voice under it. You can leave them. I tried to focus on spelling tests, on attendance, on anything but the way Liam's eyes lingered on me a little too long. We locked eyes for just a second. He tilted his head, the same angle as the man at the bus stop, then looked away like nothing happened. At recess, the original four, Liam, Emma, Jaden, Mia, stayed away from the fence. They played tag, argued about rules, tried to look normal. I could tell they were trying. The ones at the fence were new. 2 third graders I barely knew stood shoulder to shoulder, hands loose at their sides, staring toward the distant bus stop. I watched their mouths. They weren't smiling yet. Their cheeks twitched like their faces were learning how. When I said their names, they blinked, turned, and ran off like nothing was wrong. The air they'd been standing in felt colder than the rest of the playground. The principal called another quick check-in after school. Same room as before. Same tired coffee. This time there were more teachers, more tight smiles. They talked about heightened anxiety, collective trauma, and the importance of normal routines. No one said the words glowing eyes. No one said a man in the trees tried to hijack our kids. While the counselor talked, I noticed a shape on the far wall, a long shadow that didn't match anyone's body. Tall, too straight, head tilted. I blinked, and it was just the projector screen. He was listening to how we planned to pretend he didn't exist. That night, I brushed my teeth and tried not to look directly into the mirror. It didn't matter. My reflection watched me first. There was a faint glow under the skin at my temples, the same soft blue I'd seen in their eyes. Not bright, not obvious. More like something behind the bone, waking up. When I leaned closer, a pressure built at the back of my head, like fingers pressing from the inside. "You're almost ready," his voice said. "If you just stop saying no." I punched the light switch off. The bathroom went black, but the outline of my smile stayed hanging in the glass for half a second too long. I tried calling the sheriff, tried to say the words out loud. Something followed those kids out of the woods. Something is in our town. The phone kept cutting out, his replies dissolving into static. When I played the call back from my history, my side of the conversation was gone. Only my breathing remained. I tried again, with Emma's mom. As soon as I said, "the man from the trees," the line filled with that same low hum from my apartment. Emma's mom didn't hear it. She only heard me going quiet and asked if I was okay. I lied. I told her I was just tired. The truth was, I was starting to realize the zone wasn't just a place. It was anything my voice could reach. The next day, I tested the edges of the town on foot. No car. No GPS. Just my own 2 legs. I walked past the diner, the post office, the empty lot where kids used to ride bikes. Turned left, then right, then left again, just to be sure. 5 turns later, I was in front of the school. I hadn't seen it, but the town had folded in on itself just the same. Street signs. Repeated. House numbers skipped and then showed up twice. A missing cat poster I passed near the park showed a kid's face where a cat should have been. I blinked, and it was paper white again. The zone was tightening, not to keep him in, to keep me from getting out. During aftercare, Mia sat alone at a table, tapping the eraser of her pencil against her notebook. No horses this time. No houses. Just lines. Vertical, horizontal, crossing each other like streets on a map that didn't make sense. "Is that our town?" I asked. She shrugged. "It's the part he likes," she said. "Do you remember the rules you told me before?" She nodded slowly. "Don't look too long. Don't talk too much. Don't try to leave." "What happens if we break them?" I asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she drew a little stick figure on the edge of the page and shaded its eyes in solid blue. I decided to break one of the rules on purpose, not the leaving one. I'd already failed that. Don't talk too much. Lunch was loud, chaotic, the safest place to try. I sat at the edge of Liam's table and started talking. Not to him. About him. "I saw him at the woods," I said to another teacher. "I saw his eyes glow. I saw him trying to pull their smiles wider. The words felt thick in my mouth, like I was chewing on metal." At the far end of the table, 4 kids stopped chewing at the same time. Liam, Emma, Jaden, Mia. They turned their heads toward me in perfect sync. They weren't smiling. Their eyes were normal, but for a second I heard the hum rising out of their open mouths instead of breath. That night, He didn't bother with the hum. He came straight into my thoughts. No prelude, no warning. "You keep saying no," he said. "You keep pretending you're braver than the others." Images flashed behind my eyes. Parents signing consent forms without reading them. Teachers deleting emails because they were too tired. The sheriff filing his report under sleepwalking. "You're all trading children for comfort," the voice said. "I'm just being honest about it." "What do you want?" I asked finally. "I want a witness," he said. "One adult who understands what I am and chooses me anyway." The principal scheduled another assembly. Community healing, he called it. Games, music, a slideshow about safety. The bleachers were packed with kids. I stood near the doors, ready to bolt if the lights flickered again. Halfway through a painfully cheerful song, the speakers glitched. The music warped into a slow, off-key hum. Every child in the gym turned their head toward me, not toward the stage. Not toward the principal. Toward me. Row after row after row of faces, mouths relaxed, eyes too still for a heartbeat. Every pupil flashed neon blue. He was letting me see exactly how many smiles he could take at once. That night I stopped asking how to leave. I started asking how to trap him. If the zone could fold streets, repeat buildings, rewrite posters, maybe it needed a center. The bus stop, the woods, the line of trees where I first saw him standing between the kids. I packed a bag with things that felt stupid the second they were in it. Salt, a pocket Bible, a metal cross from my grandmother's drawer, a cheap digital recorder, a flashlight. None of it felt like enough. Nothing feels like enough when you're planning to pick a fight with something that lives in geometry and fear. The bus stop looked smaller at night. Just a rusted sign, a warped bench, and the black wall of trees behind it. No buses came this late. No cars passed. Only the crunch of gravel under my shoes and my own unsteady breathing. I set the recorder on the bench and turned it on. "Okay," I said into the dark. "You want a witness? I'm here. You want someone who understands? Talk to me." For a moment, nothing. Then, the trees straightened. Every branch, every trunk, aligning like soldiers. He stepped out from between them, taller than before, head brushing against power lines that shouldn't have been that low. His eyes glowed soft blue. His smile didn't move at all. "You came back," he said, though his mouth didn't move. "I thought you might." The pressure in my skull spiked until I saw stars. Images flickered around him. Liam's grin, Emma's humming, Mia's map, Jaden's wide, terrified eyes in the snow. "Leave them," I said. "Take me instead. If you need a witness, if you need someone who understands, take me and let them grow up." He tilted his head, amused. "You're already mine," he answered. "I want to see what you do when they start asking you to save them." The recorder on the bench sparked, smoking from the inside. He wasn't bargaining. He was waiting. Waiting to see how desperate I could get before I broke the way the town had. I don't remember walking home. I only remember opening my apartment door and seeing something waiting for me inside.
Not him. 4 kids sitting at my kitchen table, feet dangling above the floor, hands folded neatly.
Their eyes weren't glowing. Their smiles were small and tired, and very, very human.
Can you make him stop? Mia asked. Her voice shook.
Behind her, the walls pulsed with faint blue veins, matching the rhythm of my own heartbeat. Their parents thought they were asleep in their beds. He'd walk them straight through locked doors and quiet alarms to sit where I couldn't ignore them. I sat down across from them and hit the record button on a fresh device.
I'm going to try, I told them. But if you're hearing this, it means I failed at least once more. The hum started again, closer than ever, like it was coming from the back of my own throat.
If you're hearing this, you survived. The Unsafe Zone closes. For now.